welcome back, everybody. Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith. Oh no, it's Keith. I can't stand Keith. Ah, that stupid Keith guy. That's me. What's up, fellas? Hope and ladies and non-binaries and whatever else you consider yourselves as. Glad to see everybody. What a brutal time to be looking at any of this stuff, huh? But guess what? No emotions. Let's just attack it with an open mind. Let's see what the charts say. Boy, it's going to be ugly. I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's going to be a rough stream to get through. Nonetheless, I haven't given up. I'm still here doing streams no matter what, up or down, doesn't matter. Welcome to Crypto Before Dark. If you haven't done so, go hit like. It costs nothing. Go subscribe. 60+% of you guys don't subscribe. It's free and cheap. Why not? Hit the notification bell while you're there. And don't miss a stream. All right. Off into it we go. My goodness. My goodness. The last 6 out of 7 weeks have been the scene in Walking Dead where Negan beats old dude over the head with the baseball bat. That's what this has been for 6 or 7 weeks. Just constant, nonstop baseball bat to the dome. We're going to talk about some things that could change that. But first, let's speak of the obvious, shall we? I think that's best. We'll trade like for hopium is pretty good, actually. Quigs, that's pretty funny. My elbow's been bothering me too a little bit, dude. I don't know. Getting old. Out there in the yard working around a little bit. Pretty sure I threw my elbow out and know what the old people say. Let's start with the obvious first. Let's count these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of 9 out of the last 11 candles, hardcore red. We rejected off of the 21 EMA and have never really caught any wind back. As you see right there, the 8 EMA, exponential moving average, is the green line. And the 21 EMA is the purple line. If you would like to use one of these indicators, simply go up here and type in 81321. If you'd like a custom indicator and you don't know how to use TradingView or TradingView confuses you, you don't know what to do, whatever, got plenty of videos there for you as well. Click on the profile, check it out on YouTube right here. We got tons and tons of instructional videos to show you how to do all of the stuff that you see me doing on the screen. Now, I have a multiple view indicator here, but it's just so I could have more indicators in one spot. It's hard to explain, but imagine ammo inside of a pistol, right? Inside of a revolver. You only have so many bullets that you can fit inside the drum, right? And 6, it holds 6, a 6-shooter, yeah? Well, it's the same way with indicators on TradingView. They only give you so many slots for indicators. But if you can custom make one that adds multiple indicators in one slot, which is what I've got, well, you can have more on there, right? And you don't have to pay for the extra room. So anyway, 8 EMA, 21 EMA. These are a quick, easy, simple to check indicator that you can just kind of go, yes or no. We're looking for 2 closes over the green line. We're looking for the green line to cross upward over the purple line. And we want to see an uptrend if we could get it. As you see, we've got none of the 3. We're not over the 8 EMA. We do not have an 821 cross upward, and we do not have an uptrend. So, for a simple, quick, easy yes or no, folks, it's going to be a no from me, big dog. Sorry. It could get better. It could change. But for now, no. Hardcore no. As a matter of fact, if we just track backwards here for a second and look, we've just done nothing but tag this 8 EMA, that green line, over and over and over, bounce off of it with absolutely no regard. Just constant, nothing but rejection over and over and over again. You fellas out there who aren't married, don't have a girlfriend, know all about rejection. I used to be you guys, so I know too. It sucks. As a matter of fact, you get so tired of rejection that you tend to just quit. You tend to just not do it anymore. I don't want to see that happen for anyone out here in the investment world. That's why I harp all the time. Buy your spots, sell your spots. Don't hodl. Hodl turns out to be a terrible idea most of the time. If you had anything but Bitcoin and you were hodling, you probably lost this time around. All right. So it's very, very easy to fall into the trap. I don't want to see you guys fall into it. So, hey man, Do it how you want to do it, but I use the chart, and I'm always going to use the chart. The chart doesn't lie to us. It doesn't have feelings. It doesn't care. The chart is the chart no matter what. It's just math on a screen. It's so hard to argue with math. People come at me all the time and complain and argue and say the charts don't matter. And I'm, brother, you are doing math right now by typing this, and you're telling me it doesn't matter. But, well, it does, much more than you think. So just to jump into the oscillators real quick and show you how bad things are. Here's Bitcoin's relative strength index. You saw me talk about this on the last live stream, but relative strength index is simply an indicator that shows us how bad or how good something's doing, and we can use this data to help us make a better decision excuse me, in the future. When something is super overbought, meaning at your house you bought too much of it, what do you do with it? You either throw it away or you get rid of it, right? Exactly. So that's selling. When something is overbought, you want to sell it. When something is oversold, you've gotten rid of too much of it, now you got to get more. That means buying. This chart that you see right here is super oversold. As a matter of fact, if we do a little bit of historical dives here on this, and we look back at each oversold condition for Bitcoin in the last 4 years, the current Bitcoin RSI is as low as it's been all but once in the last 4 years. It had one moment, it was a little worse than this back in 2023, and it was an equal low in 2022, right? Tough going. Seems awful, and for what it's worth, when something is super oversold, in general, you look to be more bullish. I'm not saying run and go buy, I'm saying make a plan, because there may be a time in here when this thing reverses. What's worse, if I look at the weekly, here's the weekly RSI. Now, all these drawings on here are for the daily time frame. You can disregard those. More so, I want you to just focus. Let me actually pull up a clean one. That'll be even better. Here you go. Posted this on X earlier today. What you're seeing right here is the RSI low from 2018. That's the end of the bear market 2018. I'm going to repeat that again. That's the end of the bear market in 2018. Afterwards, you had a big run up, consolidation down, Rona. Even Rona didn't drive it this low, right? Big run up afterwards, massive, massive, massive run all the way up to 94 on the RSI. This was overbought. It sold off all the way back in the middle of the bear market in 2022. You guys remember that? Middle of the bear market 2022? That sucked. RSI was all the way down to 25 on the weekly. So bear market, first time, 2018, RSI was 28. Bear market, second time, 2022, bear market was 25. Right now, you are at the lowest level since 2022. It has been nearly 4 years since the price for the RSI, since the RSI has been this low. That's how terrible the market is right now. Now, as any smart, highfalutin, well-off investor will tell you, be greedy when people are fearful. And when people are fearful, right now, brother, fear greed index couldn't hardly be much worse than it is right now. That doesn't mean run and go buy, but it damn sure needs to think about it. It damn sure needs to be thinking about it. And when everybody's super greedy, that's when we want to start going, I don't know, man. I might want to back off a little bit on this one. Obviously, there's not very much greed right now. As a matter of fact, let me pull up the fear greed index and we'll go have a look at it right now. I think that sounds like a good idea. All right, pull it up real fast like. Ooh. The stock market. The stock market is in extreme fear. See that right there? Extreme fear for the stock market. Crypto. You're barely higher than the stock market right now at 11 or at 11 on the fear greed index and 8 on the stock market. Now here's the thing. Upgraded 29 minutes ago for the stock market. Crypto upgraded 21 hours ago. You're about to see fear greed index drop into the single digits. Do what you want, folks. But there's got to be a point in here where we get a little bit bullish. I don't know exactly when. But, I mean, it's super risky, obviously. But, gosh, as bad as things are, that's when I want to be greedy. And it's real bad right now. There are some exceptions, obviously, you see over here on the right. Excuse me. Sorry. TNSR, we noticed this morning and yesterday. They had jumped up 213% up right now. DYM, which I've charted multiple times on the live streams here, it's up 120%. GameStop is up 60%. And then some other random ones are up, you know what I mean? But nothing that you just jump right out and go, oh man, yeah, I got to buy that one. Because it wouldn't be worth it. Because you know good and well it's a terrible idea. So, fear greed index in the tank. RSI in the tank. How about the weekly time frame? Well, here's our moving averages. We'll do that first. Here's our moving averages. That's the 50 moving average weekly, which typically when you're under the 50 moving average weekly, that's a bear market. It's the 100 moving average weekly. It's simply a rolling support and resistance lines. And as you see, we are approaching a support line here. Down 5% today, 3% yesterday, 2.5% the day before that. Over and over and over. It's worse and worse and worse, right? This goes down to about 83 and some change. Sorry, I got some. I get a drink. Just sweet tea. This goes down to about 83 and some change. I'm thinking that this goes to 84, and I'll show you why in a moment. But this much sell-off this fast does probably need to retest some resistance. And that resistance would be the 821 EMA that you see up here at 103 and the 50 moving average that you see at about 102. But I'll just cut that right down to size and go 100. If we do bounce from here, which is unlikely, but if we do, 100,000 becomes a bounce target. And why do I say that? Well, it's a nice round number that's been contiguous the entire time we've been doing this. The entire time we've got up or near 100,000, this level's played hardball. Last time it rejected it, we finally broke through it. We still are technically making a higher low. Here's the last low. And here's the current low. It's still technically higher. So, quote unquote, not in a bear market. But gosh, this is awful reminiscent of a bear market, isn't it? All right. So please be careful when you're doing this. All right. Here's the Fibonacci retracement. I pulled this from the March, April low where RSI was buried again. Pulled this up to the top. As you see, we have failed the trend. And as we've fallen under the trend, it's just gotten worse and worse. We blew right through the 382 fib. We blew right through the 50 fib. We blew right through the golden pocket 618. We blew right through the golden pocket 68. And we were all the way down to the bottom of the golden pocket at the 71% retracement level. 71% of gains since the wick in the bottom of April are gone. The yearly chart is already in red. All of 2025 gains have been essentially wiped off the face of the map. The last 11 months, 10 months and 20 days, have been a waste. The last 10 months and 20 days have been a waste. All that stress, effort, and everything else was for nothing. Isn't that crazy? I know. I was right here, stressed, worried, and tired with you. Okay? So I fully get it. Let me back out real quick. I'm in the wrong section, y'all. There we go. It's lagging a little bit. Give it a second, y'all. It'll get right. There we go. So I'll flip this to, so anyway, that 83 to 84,000, remember I said 83 and some change, that happens to line up with the with the Sniper's Alley down here at 786,886. This level is how we got our name. This is Sniper's Alley. A lot of times for any asset, when you get down to the 786,886 level, that's sort of your last chance to bounce. If you don't bounce this range, it's going to get ugly, right? It's already ugly, but it can always, as I've said this 1,000 times, folks, it can always get worse. This can always get worse. And don't think just because it's bad, it can't get worse. I promise you it can. Been in this long enough. Been through it in 2018, 2020, and then 2022, 2024. Yeah, and here we are again, right? Been through this plenty of times when it gets nasty. If I flip this to log mode, we're already almost down to the Sniper's Alley level between 85 and 80. So this is, again, something that makes me think we're going to have a bounce in here somewhere. Again, I don't think the bounce is going to be massive. It could take off and run, but gosh, folks, it's really, really, really highly unlikely at this point that anything just takes off and goes. Sanasari says, it's over, isn't it? It's probably been over for a couple weeks. But for most things, it never even got started. Right. So it's smarter to be careful than it is to be a psycho and just throw your money around. The fact that we've gotten oversold RSI on the daily, we're nearly oversold on the RSI on weekly. We're at the lowest point we've been in since 2022. We're past the golden pocket, heading to Sniper's Alley. We've broken all kind of resistances broken all kind of supports without back testing them. We've had hardcore sell-offs and bleed-outs on everything, from everything in Bitcoin, everything in altcoins, everything in Ethereum. They've all bled out really, really hard without very much relief. That makes me think there's some relief in here somewhere. Now, I'm going to get silly here with this next part. So take this with a grain of salt, please. I debated not even talking about this. But for the culture, we got to do it. Okay. Let me pull up. Here's what we'll do. Oh, boy, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I hate doing this, but I'm going to do it. Okay. So first things first, what you're going to see here is just dates and math. Don't get mad at me. You're not. I'm just giving you information. Okay. I've charted out XRP here since halvings have happened the entire time. And I think we've ironed out pretty close dates when things happen. Not prices. Okay. Not, oh man, the price is going to go up, price is going to go down. Here's what the price is going to be. Just swing lows and swing highs marked out on the chart. I'm going to show you that now, okay? Please, grain of salt. I'm going to sneeze. Just one. All right, so I'm going to move these fibs for a second. If we go back in history, we had our halving in 2016. Bear with me here. We had our halving in 2016. We had our peak. You guessed it, 2018, right? See it right there, plain and simple. Can't miss it. If you notice, after the peak, we had a systematic amount of drops and raises as we went along. We've talked about this ad nauseum over the years on XRP. We've looked back in history and kind of been able to figure out what was going to happen, which is why I was able to give you buy zones and go zones on this before it ever happened, when everyone said charts didn't work. Okay. So you can go back and watch those previous live streams. I can try to dig around and find them, but I really don't want to. So anyway, the red lines that you're going to see here are the lows as they happened in the bear market post 2018, the beginning of 2018. I've got them marked low 0, low 1, low all the way through 6. And if you notice, they're sort of rhythmic, based out pretty similarly, not perfect, but pretty similarly. And they're simply marking the lows. Do you see that? All right, fair enough. If I measure these out a little bit, this is where it gets wild. So from the peak, right, about 84 days, about 230 days, about 350 days. If I come over here, about 100 days, about 230 days, about 350 days. It's not far off, right? More so what I want you to notice is from having The price action isn't necessarily a dollar amount of what we think it'll be, but the price action tends to be about the same. Here is our top. I'll go over why that's the top in a moment, but I want you to notice I marked all the lows again. And again, they're not perfect, but they're close, right? Over and over and over, all the way until we got to low number 6, where halving is up here. I made this chart all the way back in 2023, but I wrote right here, optimal long-term take profit zone, not likely. And then I updated it 11/18/24. I said, update, more likely now. And sure enough, that profit target box got hit. And then again, 6 months later, 7/12/25, I said, definitely going to happen now. It did happen. Perfect, right? How did we know that? Well, I was able to go back in history and look at the way the thing works and go, hey, from halving, here's our bottom, here's our last chance to buy low, here's halfway done, here's one more push, here's the top. Notice how rhythmic this will be. Here's halving, here was roughly the bottom, here's roughly your last chance to buy low. Here's halfway done, almost over with the bull market. One more push, sure enough, one more push, show's over. Here's this time, halving, bottom, last chance to buy low, halfway done, one more push, sure enough, one more push, show's over line got passed about 6 weeks ago. Now, it is of note that I drew out these boxes and said buy zone, go time, buy zone, go time, buy zone, go time. Was able to use the exact same repetitive price action that XRP has, not price, but repetitive price action that XRP has. You have to scale it down properly. You can't use hopium. But we're able to see this timing-wise was pretty darn good. Now, interestingly enough, the next low is approaching. But for XRP, it shows not till roughly January that would happen. Why? Well, it's already happened that way in the past. Here's show is over last time, October. We had one more push up that happened right here in January, and then that was it. Same thing happened back here. Big sell off, one more push up, and then that was it. We're at the same point now again. Show's over, and we're hitting the low number 0, which would be our last reversal point. How far down could we go? This is where it gets tricky, and I don't know that this math is going to necessarily correlate. But if we go from the previous low, which is over here, to the high, right? Pull my fibs just right. Previous low to the high. I'll pull it over here. We can see it. You did about a 786 retrace where it says low number 0. If you go back over here, pull the previous high, pull it to the top. On this one, you did about a 618 to a 71 golden pocket retrace before you had a bounce up. Now, this bounce up in 2018 was 100%. Last time on 2022 was about 65%, 55 to 65%. What are we going to get this time? Well, let's go look at the price action that we've got currently. So, right here's our previous low to our high. Problem, folks, we are already through Sniper's Alley. It already got through the level we needed to see it not fail. So, how far down can it go? Well, if we don't get back up over the Sniper's Alley by the end of the week and close, we're pointing back down toward 190 and 160 to 150. Way down here before we get any semblance of a bounce. I know that sucks to hear, but it's the truth, right? Down here is your 100 moving average, which is about 160 to 150. Right now it's 159, right? It's slowly moving as it goes along. Monthly. Here's your monthly moving averages. 21 EMA at about 188. Remember I said 190 a second ago, so there you go, 190. And if that doesn't hold, you're going down even more, down toward 160. It looks like we're going to get another bounce at the end of the year to me. The question is how much of a bounce? The question is, how long will it take and how far will it go? Well, I'm of the information that I don't think it'll go as far as people think it will, but I do think we'll have something in here. If we go all the way down to 180 and do a 50% retrace, that would be 250 on the way back up. Gosh, that seems like hopium. So I don't know there. It seems super dicey to me, and it seems like hopium. If I have a trend line pulled from the top up here, I just follow these lower highs that it kind of made over here. Coming back up to this trend line makes sense between 230-ish. If we fall down to 150 and get back to 230, that's about a 65% increase. Not bad, right? Point I'm trying to make here is we've got this price action hammered out pretty closely. And I'm not saying we're going to be perfect, but what I can tell you is it looks like XRP's into its bear market. And if that's the case, it's going to be another solid 3 years before you get anything substantial. In fact, you'll get low after low after low after low after low until you get all the way near halving, where we'll have one more low before we start our run up. It's happened this way on XRP 2 other times. I'm anticipating it to happen again. No, I do not think the price will go way up or way down because I'm just giving you the dates and the price action markers. I think it's possible. I don't think it's probable, right? Problem is, it looks like the party's over for it. So if that's the case, cooked. So that's a big, long explanation for some mathematical stuff that's happened in the past. Take it for what you want. We've been pretty close on XRP. We've been closer than everybody else. I always give you an informational bite with it, right? If we were going to go to $6, we had to hold $3, and we simply didn't. Once we failed $3, that was that. It never got there, right? You can't go talking about 25 and 30 and 60 and 90 and all this crazy crap like that until you get over certain levels. And we never got over those levels sustainably. Now we're back under them. And if you don't get going here soon, it's going to get worse. I'm hopeful that this level holds. It's held in the past right here at this level, around $2. If you can hold $2 here and stay up above 205-ish, something like that, you can take a stab at getting back over this trend line again. I don't think it's going to do it, but I hope so. So fingers crossed. I know that's a weird explanation. I know you're going to look at that and go, that's way too far down the rabbit hole for me. Fine. I totally get it, dude. So let's go through a couple of traditional assets real quick. Why? Because it's just important to notice how bad the stock market is as well today. Stock market just closed, and it closed one of its worst days since early October. She closed down. The S&P closed down 3.5%. The NASDAQ is still going right now, but it's just post-market. 4.8% for the NASDAQ. Dow Jones, 2.5%. Apple, crushed. Look at that bearish engulfing candle right there. Still over the trend, though. Facebook continues to lay an egg. Oversold, remember? Shoo, boy, look at that thing. Look how oversold Facebook is. Microsoft continues to take dick punches. Tesla looked good. Nope.
Gotcha, bitch.
Looks bad. Never got the inauguration shorts and keeps going down. Very much may have back tested the trend line. Google had a good day to start with.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeet, pulled the rug right out from under your feet. Down she goes. Nvidia, up on earnings report. Oh boy.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeet, right back down you go. One of Nvidia's worst days in a long time. So, what's the point? Well, the point is this. It can always get worse than you think. And if you think it's just crypto and, it's manipulation and it's them that stop, dude. Just own it. You bought something that went down and you didn't sell it. Own that shit. It's okay. We all make mistakes and we all screw up. Lord knows I have. I'm a constant mistake. I try to make myself better, but I'm a hard-headed kind of guy and I learn via mistakes. Okay? So I don't want everyone to lose everything because you refuse to learn a lesson. Lessons need to be learned, okay? That's part of the game. Boy, are they being learned now. Not only is it crypto, it's the stock market world, everything except the dollar, really. The US dollar's kind of going up. Yeah, figure that one out. So Brutal stream, I know, and I'm sorry. But hopefully here in the next few days, we find some sort of bottoming pattern here where things kind of cool off a little bit. I'm hoping that we get out of this oversold condition and find some sort of upward movement here, but there's no guarantees, okay? So please be careful, tiptoe. Please remember the 4 rules. Number 1, no emotion. Number 2, have a plan before you buy. Rule number 3, what's your backup plan? No backup plan, that means no rule number 2, no buying. Rule number 1, no emotions. Rule number 2, have a plan. Rule number 3, have a backup plan. And last but not least, the most important rule of all, you probably didn't follow it, but maybe you will next time. Take your profits. Because Lord knows if you don't take your profits, someone else will take them for you. Maybe even me. Don't let that happen. All right? You take your own profits. Thank you all for watching. I super appreciate you guys and gals and non-binaries and normals all for being here. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. I appreciate that. Seriously. Let's make the best of our days. Today's the worst of our tomorrows. It keeps getting worse every day, but we don't have to have it that way, right? We can try to make things better. And last but not least, if no one else told you today, Keith will tell you, Keith loves you. Sorry things have been so bad. And I hate having to report bad news, but somebody's got to do it. And if I got to be honest, Abe, is what it is. See you guys next stream Tuesday over in the Discord. You can check us out if you'd like, wap.com/team786. We do Zooms, we do streams, we share information constantly. All my buys and sells are over there. Everything I own is over there. If you want to come hang out, you can. It's half off, first month free, no obligation, cancel anytime. Thank you all. I'll see you guys on the next live stream. Y'all know the deal. Sky's the limit. I'm out. Peace.